Hello and welcome to the Kopala TV main news. The headlines. Opposition DP condemns Labour Minister for disregarding employee complaints. Quito residents commend Lusaka Mayor for apologizing to the Chinese community. Farmers urge government to reduce prices of fertilizer. And in international news, hundreds of Pakistani children under 10 with COVID-19. Join us in a bit after this. To present the Kopala TV main news in detail, my name is Wawila Musongole. The Democratic Party DP President Harry Kalaba has expressed disappointment with Labour Minister Joyce Simukoko's response toward the Zambian employees being kept in quarantine against their will. Yesterday, the Minister of Labour and Social Security, Joyce Simukoko, said that her ministry will not tolerate workers that are lying that they are being forced to be in quarantine by their employers. Mr. Kalaba said that he expected empathy from the Labour Minister, adding that that was her duty.
It is very sad, because if there's anybody that we are counting on to talk for the workers, it's Madam Joyce. Because Madam Joyce is coming from the Labour movement. And naturally what we expected was that she was going to have pity and feel for them, have empathy for the workers. But I am shocked. I am surprised that she's saying that the workers are just telling stories. They have agreed and they're being paid overtime. Does it mean that when I mistreat my own workers in my place, at my farm or everywhere, for as long as I'm paying them handsomely, they should not complain, they should not speak? Where are the human rights? Where are the labor laws in this country? So my appeal to the workers out there is that you have an ally in the Democratic Party. We are going to speak for you to the hilt and will not keep quiet on this issue. We will not agree that all of us should be succumbed to being quiet, because if we talk, they'll say no, they're talking. We'll be talking for as long as you, the workers, are being abused in this fashion. There is no way. And most of you people who are being kept in those same factories, you are the youths, you are the young ones. So it is up to you to stand up now and see who your leader is. It's up to you to see who can talk for you in a time like this, because they have all been quiet. And my brother Mao Sampa, I want to tell you this. We are with you in what is going on.
The residents of Quito have commended Lusaka Mayor Mao Sampa for apologizing to the Chinese community for shutting down their businesses. Details are in the following report.
It has been received with mixed feelings and has caused a lot of tension on social media. The issue of the Lusaka Mayor Mao Sampa apologizing to the Chinese community and the government leaders has brought so much controversy. Earlier this month, Mr. Sampa had shut down a Chinese restaurant for discriminating Zambians, as well as a barber shop. On Wednesday, His Worship the Lusaka Mayor said in a statement made available to the media that he had reviewed events last week and over the weekend as regard his monitoring and conduct towards some business houses, and has accepted his error in judgment of physically going to the business premises instead of engaging relevant authorities and institutions. However, Quito residents that spoke to Kopala TV News commended Mr. Sampa.
To apologize is good for investor friendliness. Secondly, the people that also, once these investors come into the country, what rules and guidelines do we give them? So that even as they are in the country, they know exactly what to do. Where that place is just next door to Parliament. I don't know if that place is at Arcades. That's just next door to Parliament. And are you going to allow something next door to Parliament happening in that manner where you are not allowing blacks? Where are the council officers? Where are the council police of our capital city?
I would say that shouldn't be the case, because, you know, we are a Christian nation as Zambia. So we ought to be in one accord despite color or race or sex. It shouldn't be the case. So we ought to be in one accord and in love, because this is a Christian nation. So if we say it's a Christian nation, then let's act it.
Others had this to say.
airaisa machinese afile watontonga na upali filefi lukusiloko ya mkuu hapa.
Earlier, local government minister Charles Banda came out strong, threatening Lusaka Mayor Miles Sampa for closing down abusive Chinese-owned businesses, adding that it was unacceptable for some officials to arbitrarily cancel licenses because local authorities follow laid-down procedures when awarding trading licenses. The question still remains, do these investors know the do's and the don'ts when they come to do business in Zambia? Diana Kafwala, Kopala TV News, Kitwe.
Farmers in Kitwe are urging government to reduce prices of fertilizer to maintain the prospected bumper harvest in the country. Details are in the following report.
The country has recorded over 3 million metric tons of maize in the 2019-2020 farming season. This was revealed when Minister of Agriculture Michael Katambo announced the crop forecast survey for 2019-2020 agriculture season on Wednesday this week. Meanwhile, the farmers in Kitwe have urged government to reduce prices of fertilizer in view of maintaining the prospected bumper harvest.
The government, what it should do to help a farmer is to reduce the price of fertilizer. Yeah. Not only that, even reduce the price of meal because a farmer has other relatives who are not farmers. Maybe these two things can really assist a farmer so much.
They added that it is key that they benefit from this year's bumper harvest.
Last year, very deliver bwangu fertilizer ine tina temwati bakonka nyempo pantunga twali pekanya bwangu ukulima nefintu filalondoloka ngefyo uno mwaka kwena na filondoloka efintu ubulimi na bulondoloka sana na ine ninsansa mukapantu amataba ishaka chule ukushitobunga.
We expect the farmers also to benefit from the bumper harvest that the country is having, and we expect the farmers to be given that platform to sell their produce accordingly with the price that they wish.
The farmers have therefore praised government for the early delivery of farming inputs under the Farm Input Support Program. Victoria Mukupo reporting in Kitwe.
In case you have just tuned in, you are watching the Kopala TV main news. Join us in a bit after the break.
Kopala TV, Kopala ya buena mumwesu Kopala. Kopala TV.
My number. Ishusho limentindeaza yama oji urushani. Kopala TV.
Yama oji. Imuntu wandi Yesu. Fwebene by fwebene. Fwebene. I did the kalasti. Yako Kopala futi yaba Kopala.
Manje kuikatashani yoina. Na ena ya kuntambo oro ni jiviji.
Wala iwe. Ile sangwa patopsta decoder. Channel 98 paku. Ninshi yatubira. Puta menso ninshi yalila ni efizimbwe. Kule izimoli la femunjazi.
So yuri landati Kopala TV tayawanga yama boiling channel wako watu wachila tamba fe wino. Kwangwa filamba fyambo kupona. Uruwa mfotoro pantu ifuma chane wefingi fyamu pura fi.
Alula iwe Kopala TV ni Kopala futi eile kuchalo. No ushali mokuba molasti. Elo ile sansa Kopala yonse my number. Ukwambila fipa my number pandola lwansha. Kito paketi ke mufurila mufuken. Chingola pa chingo begi na chidila iwe. Ni Kopala TV, liko.
Muntu wanja pa kushongora fika top star we tatande tambela po fi Kopala TV. Pachani o 98 pa kude konkana ne charo bamba to bamba. Ni pate after pate. Wo, pate after pate. Wo. Kopala TV, OG, yeah. Kopala TV, available on Topstar Channel 98. Kopala TV, entertainment just for you.
Looking for an opportunity to grow your business? Well, Kopala TV has good news for all small-scale businesses. You can now advertise on Kopala TV's Makwebo. Bonseba na mayo na bashtata. Iseni mulangishe amakwebo yenu pamutengo uachepa nga 100 kwacha. Yes, you heard right. For as low as 100 kwacha, your business will get its peak. Whatever the business, we will advertise. All you need to do is send a text of what your business offers, indicating the name, location, and contact details to the number below. Payment for the advertising spot can be made through MTN mobile money on the number down below. Makwebo, make your business known.
One Zambia, one nation.
Zambia chalo chesu. Stop political violence.
I am Zambian. I am against political violence.
I am Zambian, and I say disarm all cadres now.
It's not one Zambia if we kill each other. Stop the violence.
It's not good killing one another as Zambians. Stop the violence.
Let's keep the peace in our streets. Let's work to stay one Zambia.
It's not one Zambia if we kill each other. Stop the violence.
Ndimwina Zambia, lekeni ukulwa pamulandu wa politics.
Welcome back. The year-on-year inflation rate as recorded by the Zambia Statistics Agency for the month of May 2020 has increased to 16.6% as compared to the 15.7% recorded for the month of April 2020. Economist Noah Nkoma has chalked the increase up to the country's economy being import-dependent and thus in the current coronavirus situation, keeping the inflation rate at bay may prove to be a challenge. He also credited the country's power blues as a factor in the production drop. Mr. Nkoma said this in an interview with Kopala TV News.
We still have challenges in the sense that our economy still continues to be import dependent, and basically if you look at the production sector or the manufacturing sector, it heavily relies on power, and the ZESCO tariffs have shot up. Now that's into the inflation side. The high import bill with the deteriorated exchange rate and coupled with the high cost of production, which ultimately is passed on to the consumer.
The women of Kansonka Ward in Lufwanyama have expressed gratitude to the PF Lufwanyama Constituency Information Publicity Secretary Henry Chilombo for donating clothes to their elderly people. Mr. Chilombo was represented by Induna Kambutu in His Royal Highness Mukutuma's Y section. Diana Kafwala has the rest of the details.
These are some of the women of Kasonka Ward in Lufwanyama constituency. The women are full of appreciation for the PF Constituency Information Public Secretary Henry Chilombo. Mr. Chilombo donated clothes to the elderly women in His Royal Highness Chief Mukutuma's Y section. And the women had this to say. Also receiving the donations was Induna Kambatu, and he too expressed gratitude to Mr. Chilombo.
Bachilombo na maruchini section baitwale kwiwona matukali kukubona film bandi kunya bambe abacharapo abali mu mapanga abali kekula abali kupenga na mayilo bakatwanukeko cyamfuika mwana wa Chilombo twamitote.
It is a timely gesture and one can only hope that it will be extended to many people of Lufanyama, especially looking at the season we are in. Diana Kafwala, Kopala TV News, Lufanyama.
The United Party for National Development, UPND Lusaka Province Deputy Chairperson for Politics, Grace Chivubu, yesterday accompanied aspiring Member of Parliament for Kabushi constituency, Anthony Walia, to ZCCM-IH to engage them on the disputed gold mining joint venture and processing activities involving a Sudanese company, Karma Mining Services and Rural Development Limited. In a statement made available to Kopala TV News, Mr. Walia said the party wanted to ascertain the ownership behind the mining firm that has miraculously been given the majority of shareholding.
In Mwenilunga. Yesterday, the UPND took the initiative, and I personally went to Pakra offices, and we paid a small fee, and we got the information that we wanted, because we wanted to ascertain the ownership behind the mining company that has miraculously been given a majority stake in the joint venture with ZCCM-IH. And as things panned out, the company is entirely owned by Sudanese nationals. And this is something that the UPND wants to categorically set the record straight on, that the gold in Mwenilunga is and must be for Zambians, and it must be and it should always be exploited for the benefit of Zambians. And this is why we want to go on the record, as we have always done, that we shall not allow a situation that happened with Mukula, where government came in, hijacked the process, killed Zambian companies belonging to Zambians, whilst at the same time they went behind the scene and they started benefiting and harvesting the trees, selling it for personal gain. Small group of individuals in the PF and the Patriotic Front as well as establishment. We are not going to allow that. And this is why we will continue pressing ZCCM-IH, IDC and the PF regime that they are going to have to recall and cancel the joint venture between ZCCM-IH and Karma Mining Services, because we do not believe that that joint venture has been given in good faith. It will not benefit a single Zambian, none whatsoever.
You are still watching the Kopala TV main news. We break once again for commercials. We'll be right back.
Kopala TV, Kopala ya buena buena mumwesu Kopala. Kopala TV.
My number. Ishusho limentindeaza yama oji orushani. Kopala TV.
Yama oji. Imuntu wandi Yesu. Fwebene by fwebene. Fwebene. Naidede kalasti. Iyako Kopala futi yaba Kopala.
Manje kuikatashani yoinai. Na ena ya kuntambo oro ni jiviji.
Wala iwe. Ile sangwa patopsta dikoda. Channel 98 paku. Ninshi yatubila. Puta mensa ninshi yalila ni evidimbwi. Kule izimoli la femunjazi.
So yuri landati Kopala TV tayawanga yama boiling channel wako watu wachila tamba fe wino kwangwa filamba fyambo kupona uruwa mfotoro pantu ifuma chane wefingi fyamo pula fi
alula iwe Kopala TV ni Kopala futhi eile kuchalo no ushali mokuba molasti elo ile sansa Kopala yonse my number ukwambila pepe my number pandula lwansha kito paketi ke mufudila mufuken chingola pa chingo begi na chidila bombiwe ni Kopala TV eiliko
muntu wanja pakushongora fika top star wetata nde tambela pofi Kopala TV pachani 98 apa kude konkana ne charo bamba to bamba ni pate after pate wo pate after pate wo ha ha
Kopala TV OG. Kopala TV, available on Topstar Channel 98. Kopala TV, entertainment just for you.
Looking for an opportunity to grow your business? Well, Kopala TV has good news for all small-scale businesses. You can now advertise on Kopala TV's Makwebo. Bonseba na mayo na bashtata. Iseni mulangishe amakwebo yenu pamutengo uachepa nga 100 kwacha. Yes, you heard right. For as low as 100 kwacha, your business will get its peak. Whatever the business, we will advertise. All you need to do is send a text of what your business offers, indicating the name, location, and contact details to the number below. Payment for the advertising spot can be made through MTN mobile money on the number down below. Makwebo, make your business known.
One Zambia, one nation.
Zambia chalo chesu. Stop political violence.
I am Zambian. I am against political violence.
I am Zambian, and I say disarm all cadres now.
It's not one Zambia if we kill each other. Stop the violence.
It's not good killing one another as Zambians. Stop the violence.
Let's keep the peace in our streets. Let's work to stay one Zambia.
It's not one Zambia if we kill each other. Stop the violence.
Ndi mwina Zambia, lekeni ukulwa pamulandu wa politics.
Welcome back, and now in foreign news. Protests erupted across the United States on Thursday night as anger over the death of George Floyd, an unarmed African-American man, intensified, with some demonstrators gaining access to a police precinct in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and setting sections of the building ablaze. We monitored Al Jazeera for this report.
With looters raiding stores, some shopkeepers are taking up arms.
Okay, you guys are protecting your store. We are protecting our store, yeah.
Amid rising rage in the streets of Minnesota. Protests in Minneapolis have swelled over the death of George Floyd, seen on video gasping for breath as a police officer knelt on his neck. As mourners held a vigil at the spot where it happened, prosecutors and the FBI promised an aggressive investigation of the officers involved.
I am pleading with individuals to remain calm and to let us conduct this investigation.
That was not what demonstrators wanted to hear, and on the streets, it showed. The announcement of a high-profile news conference had many expecting criminal charges against the police, but investigations take time, and for many protesters, after so many incidents like this across the U.S., patience has simply run out.
Prosecute the police!
Peaceful protests turned into riots, with looters smashing store windows and setting fires that engulfed entire city blocks in Minneapolis. Police responded with tear gas and rubber-coated bullets. At the mayor's request, Minnesota is sending in the Army National Guard.
This could be a point in time when several years from now, we can look back to know that we rose to right the wrongs of the past, not just with words, but with action.
In New York and other cities across the U.S., demonstrators join in increasingly contentious protests, and a growing array of public officials want the officers already fired from their jobs to face serious charges.
We did see a murder on TV. It wasn't self-defense.
At the home of the officer who knelt on Floyd's neck, protesters have written their own verdict. With the embers of the riots and a community's anger still smoldering, finding out if prosecutors reach that same decision could take weeks, possibly months, to answer. John Hendren, Al Jazeera, Chicago.
More than 900 children under the age of 10 have tested positive for the novel coronavirus in Pakistan's southern Sindh province. Most of them are from poor families where social distancing is impossible at home. Al Jazeera has the details once again.
Relatives wait outside a busy emergency department in Sindh province. Their children are inside, isolated, receiving treatment for COVID-19. At least 930 children under the age of 10 have tested positive for the virus. Most of them are symptomatic, but the concern is how they became infected in the first place.
These are all local cases where the children probably have gotten this infection from some of their elders who had left the house, who had gone somewhere, or probably the family did not practice social distancing in a proper manner. The reason why I'm saying this is because since the 26th of February 2020, schools have been closed.
Despite the Pakistani government's advice to follow World Health Organization guidelines on social distancing, many people here are not. For some, it's not a choice. Most of the children that tested positive come from poor communities. They live in cramped conditions, big families, in small spaces.
Look at the situation we're living in. It's all solid waste. The smell is everywhere. Meanwhile, the government is talking about hygiene and social distancing. How is that possible in a situation like this? And how can we keep our children safe?
Many of Pakistan's hospitals are struggling to cope with the number of COVID-19 cases. More than 61,000 people so far and more than 1,200 deaths. With the economy already weak, the crisis has forced many people out of work. The government projects 18 million job losses. More Pakistanis are relying on food handouts.
It's a catch-22 situation where, if you open businesses, you put everybody's lives into risk. If you shut down businesses, then there is an economic downturn. So it's not an easy choice. It's the choice between the devil and the deep sea, basically.
Pakistan is considering imposing another nationwide lockdown in hope of flattening the curve. But it may prove hard to follow for those living in Sindh province, which now has the highest number of confirmed coronavirus cases in the country. Sarah Khairat, Al Jazeera.
Finally, in foreign news, the United States almost sent 2 astronauts into orbit from American soil for the first time in nearly a decade. Circumstances on the ground and in the skies changed flight plans for the public-private partnership between NASA and commercial flight company SpaceX. We monitored Voice of America for this story.
On the brink of making history Wednesday, NASA and SpaceX pulled the plug on the first launch to orbit from U.S. soil since 2011. NASA typically flies missions into clear sunny skies, but at Cape Canaveral Air Force Station, the weather did not cooperate.
We had hope. It was bad in the morning, there was lightning, but our launch wasn't scheduled until 4:33, I think, p.m. Eastern time. And so they were like, oh, it can clear up. And it did get better, and then it got worse.
Shaniqua Vereen handles public affairs out of NASA's Johnson Space Center in Houston, the home base of the 2 astronauts selected for the flight, Doug Hurley and Bob Behnken.
8.5, 9 years later to see where we are.
Hurley was aboard the last launch in 2011. Vereen says next-generation technology aboard SpaceX's Dragon is the biggest difference from that previous flight.
Most things in the Dragon, it's going to be done with a touchscreen or kind of on the handrail, if you will, and then above them will be flat screens. And in the shuttle, of course, which is what we launched on the last time we launched from American soil, you had hundreds of buttons you had to push on, push off.
These past 9 years, American astronauts relied on Russian rockets to get to space and on board the International Space Station. Vereen says a successful launch offers an additional way to get to space and does not signal the end of the U.S.-Russian partnership. Despite pleas to the public to stay home to avoid the risks of COVID-19, a crowd gathered to watch the launch, and Vereen says the mission had 1.7 million viewers online. And the launch delay is expected to be short-lived. NASA and SpaceX will attempt another launch Saturday. Arash Arabasadi, VOA News, Washington.
That ends the Kopala TV main news for today, but before we go, we recap on headlining stories. Opposition DP condemns Labour Minister for disregarding employee complaints. Quito residents commend Lusaka mayor for apologizing to the Chinese community. Farmers urge government to reduce prices of fertilizer. And in international news, hundreds of Pakistani children under 10 with COVID-19. Thank you for watching the Kopala TV main news. Make sure you join our online community by liking our Facebook page and subscribing to our YouTube channel at Kopala TV. From all of us here at Kopala TV, my name is Wawila Musongole, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.